I am driving on Longwoods Road, and you can see the golf course on the right hand side across the river, and the golf course is right next to the Army National Guard Center in Hillsborough, New Hampshire. So I am going to make a right onto Wyman Road, and this is the start of the Longwoods Mobile Home Park. I will take the next left onto Keys Farm Road. And that road is a dead-end road with a hiking trail at the end of it leading out into the woods. So the first thing that you will see is a small oval dirt bike track, and right near there on the ground I found a small red bottle opener with the number 8 on it, and I took that in a evidence bag, so I want to document that I found it here. The trail splits, and the trail on the right circles back toward another area of the trailer park. Now, the trail that goes straight is a very short trail. I'd say it's only about 1/8 of a mile to 1/4 of a mile. The first thing that you'll notice is this rail or something that seems to have been placed very deliberately high in this tree. And the only guess I have is that this is some type of marking to show that strange people inhabit this area. I have seen cans or bottles or even hubcaps hanging on trees or piles of rocks as some type of marking. So I guess this is something like the same thing. So after walking about 100 feet, there is a sign posted on a tree that says safety zone. No hunting beyond this point. And then it says, hunting on this property is a privilege provided through the generosity of the landowner, who requests that for safety reasons, no hunting takes place beyond this point. The landowner has left his name and address blank, and underneath that, it says, New Hampshire Fish and Game Department. I have never seen a sign like this before. Usually, if someone has property bordering on state land where hunting is permitted, they will often post signs around their property that state, private property, no hunting, fishing, or trespassing beyond this point. So this sign is kind of confusing, because first, it's right in the middle of this very short hiking trail. So are we to assume that hunting is permitted along the first 100 feet of the hiking trail that leads to a trailer park? And if this is someone's private property, why would they want to give the nearby occupants of a trailer park permission to walk around their property? It doesn't make any sense. After that sign, there is another 100 feet of trail before leading into a small field. On the edge of that small field, someone has planted a small tree and has very protectively surrounded it with a circular fence. On the other side of the field is a tent covered with some pine tree branches. The tent is up against the tree line. And if you ever find something like this out in the woods, my advice is to leave it alone. Hey, you all right in there? Need some water or anything? In the past, I have come across some campsites that look like they have been abandoned for quite some time. So at first I would call something out, like, hello, are you alright in there? And if I don't hear a reply, and the campsite looks kind of old and abandoned, I might go take a look. But in a case like this, my advice is to leave this alone. So as you could see, this setup looks relatively new and the tent is sealed up. So I would not try to open it up. So up on the left, the hiking trail ends on somebody's property. And you can see a small house, and they have a sign that says beware of the dog. And if you look across this person's yard, you can see that there is more hiking trails across on the other side of their yard. So this whole setup is bizarre and seems intent on inviting whoever may be on the hiking trail onto this person's private property. So judging by the two signs that are posted, this person is stating that you are on their private property. But the only rule is that you do not hunt, because this is a safety zone. And you should also beware of their dog. So it's almost as if they are inviting people onto their private property. So this is a very tiny house for such a large property. It looks as if these people have several acres of land. However, they have only built this tiny house. If the door is 3 feet wide, I'd say the front of their house is no wider than 20 feet. You cannot see too well from this video, but like I said, you can see these other hiking trails in the woods on the other side of their yard. So I decided to cut through the woods and head in the direction of these hiking trails. The hiking trails on the other side lead up to the side of this person's house. And there is a tree that has begun to hollow out at its base. I have seen this many times and believe that this is often caused by setting fires near the base of trees. By viewing the videos on this channel, like Fitzwilliam Military Cult, you will see a number of burnt trees that I believe have been caused during human sacrifice rituals. This has been a practice going back into ancient times, such as the Roman Catholic Church being infamous at burning people at the stake, which means that they tie someone up to a post and then they light a bonfire at their feet. If trees are burnt, they will lose their bark and eventually hollow out at their base. I don't know for sure, but I guess that by setting repeated fires at the base of trees will eventually get the tree to hollow out. And for some reason, there is a toy dump truck left next to this tree with a damaged base. In back of the shed is a metal grate and also two deer-style targets. For some reason, there is a lot of damage to the top of the deer's back. And I don't know if this is caused from shooting down at the deer from a high position, like from a deer stand, or if it has been damaged by some other method. Then there is a sign that says beware of alligators. So a sign like that may be appropriate in Florida, but not so much in the state of New Hampshire. I don't know if this is a joke, but it reminded me of the guy at Eaton Furniture who had something like a plastic alligator mounted to the wall of his store in part 7 of this video series. Around the hiking trails is a stream that appears to circle around. However, there is one tiny pond area that more resembles a pit where the water is low and the sides form a barrier around the pond. If this person is not joking about the beware of alligators sign, this pond may be a place to put alligators in for whatever reason this person has to keep alligators on their property. There are also quite a few birdhouses along this stream. On the other side of the stream are some buildings in the distance. One appears to be a large structure, maybe a barn with part of its roof missing. There is also what appears to be a brick house. And there are other trees on this property that are forming hollows as the base of the tree is being damaged and the wood is disintegrating and falling out. This trail leads out to another small field. There are a couple of more small trees planted with protective fences around them. Taking this all into consideration, that this property owner has marked this area as a safety zone and has made a point never to state that trespassing is not allowed, then any hikers that may stumble into his area will then see his cute little birdhouses and his cute little baby trees surrounded by their little protective circular fences and see his cute little signs. All give off the impression of a peaceful landowner who doesn't mind people camping or hanging around in the fields close to his house. This guy must love baby trees and cute little birdies. And he must have a great sense of humor, telling everyone to beware of alligators in the middle of New Hampshire, where everyone knows there aren't any alligators. So all of this creates the illusion that this property owner, in fact, desires people to come into his area. On the edge of the field are a few stick piles and also 2 pallets. One is plastic and one is wood. So it seems that whoever is clearing off this field is making a point to stack all the sticks into piles that will be readily available for any bonfire. The pallets seem out of place at the edge of this field. However, in part 1 of this series on Preston Street, someone had a whole pile of plastic pallets on the edge of their property for some reason. And when I walked past their driveway, they had a red SUV vehicle that appeared to have something to do with the fire department. So here they have a few piles of sticks, a wooden pallet, and a plastic pallet. The only other thing to note about this field is that if someone were to actually fall for all this crazy stuff and think that some kind person wanted to invite the nearby trailer park into their nature center-like backyard to camp out or live or do whatever they wanted to do and wound up camping in this back field, they would certainly be in a remote area and could then fall victim to dogs or alligators, which the property owner is posting that visitors may run into trouble with if they are brave enough to venture into this safety zone. And then, on the way out, I saw another very insane looking marker, which is what appears to be a wooden chair for children. In any case, it is a very small chair, and its front has been pushed up close against a tree that borders along this hiking trail. I cannot think of any sensible reason why this chair would be positioned like this, right against the tree, unless it's some type of crazy marker or monument to the nuts that live in this area. last on the main trail headed back to the trailer park, I saw what appeared to be dog crap on the trail, and I noticed that for some reason it was filled with lots of hairs. It looked as if almost the whole thing was composed of hairs, especially these very obvious white hairs that looked like rabbit hairs or something. And this reminded me of the storefront window where an evil looking and bald mannequin was holding a frying pan with the same type of hairs in it. My guess is that this belonged to a dog that was being taken on a walk along the hiking trail. And for some reason, this dog was being fed animals, possibly live animals. And this dog was having to kill the animal and then eat through its pelt. So in Hillsboro, I have seen these hairs in storefront windows, in frying pans held by evil-looking mannequins. I have seen these hairs ground into the shoulder area of a shirt that appeared to have belonged to a young boy. And now I am finding a large amount of white hairs in something like this. So I'd guess that this dog most likely belongs to whoever owns this nearby property and is posting signs that appear to lure people into the area where they should beware of dogs and alligators. For some reason,